Irreplaceable, written and narrated by Christina. With Ladybug refocused, it didn't take them long to defeat the villain, and the two headed back to Adrian's house. It felt strange to de-transform in front of her, but it was a nice feeling, a right feeling. It was refreshing that he could be so open with her, and reassuring that she knew him so completely. He could get used to this. "So, should I give this back to you, or do I hold on to it?" he asked, holding out the ring. Ladybug hesitated, then said, "I'm sorry, Adrian. I never should have given you this Miraculous." His heart seized in his chest as a look of hurt and confusion flashed across his face. Would nothing he did ever be good enough for her? He felt a fierce ache swell inside of him, and a bit of anger as well. He was about to turn away when Ladybug continued. "You were wonderful, Adrian, and I really appreciate all that you did for me, but..." Her voice quivered, and Adrian was surprised to see tears in her eyes. He placed a concerned hand on her shoulder. "What's wrong, Ladybug?" She looked up at him slowly, then turned away, her voice strained from holding back tears. "Everything is wrong, and it's all my fault. Cat Noir was the best partner I could ever ask for, but now he's gone. I pushed him away. I wasn't trying to. I was afraid of something happening, of losing him and everyone else that I didn't realize I was losing him already, and now it's too late." The words were rushed and tumbling together, broken up between quiet sobs, making it difficult for Adrian to catch everything she said. "I should have been more gentle with him. I should have listened when he tried to talk to me. I should have realized something was wrong." She took a deep breath and tried to calm herself, then said, "I can't give you this Miraculous in case he wants it back." Adrian's eyes widened, and he felt a flicker of hope. "You want to keep it in case he wants it back? Are you sure? You think he would?" Ladybug hesitated. "Well, he has changed his mind before, so maybe..." Her voice cracked, and she burst into tears, covering her face with her hands. "Actually, no, I'm not sure at all. I was a horrible partner to him, and I wouldn't blame him if he never wanted to see me again." Adrian's heart ached as he saw the pain she was in. He felt like kicking himself for doing this to her. "But you have so many other heroes to help you, and I'm here for you, Ladybug. You're not alone." Ladybug just shook her head. "I can't do this without him, Adrian. He's always been there for me. He does more than just protect the city. He makes me feel better when I'm sad. He has a confidence and bravery that spills over onto me. He always knows exactly what to say." She laughed softly. "Sometimes he says too much. He makes jokes about everything. But the truth is, his jokes remind me that as bad as things get, we don't have to be overwhelmed by them." Her face grew sad again. "I miss his jokes." She wrapped her arms around herself. "I miss him so much, Adrian." Adrian stared at her in shock and concern, then touched her shoulder again gently. Without speaking, she leaned into him, crying softly as he held her close. "I need him, Adrian. He's not just my partner. He's one of my closest friends." Adrian felt his heart skip, and a hopeful look grew in his eye. "You really mean that, Ladybug?" She just sniffled softly. "It doesn't matter. I'll never see him again." Adrian gently squeezed tighter, comfortingly. "He might come back." She shook her head, and Adrian felt the warmth of more tears running against his shirt. "You'll never forgive me." Adrian pulled her carefully away from him, resting his hands on her shoulders. "Yes, he will." Her hand slipped away from her face, but she avoided his gaze. "Hey." She slowly tilted her head up at him, her eyes filled with doubt. He stared earnestly down at her and felt a warmth grow in his chest. "He probably misses you too." A small spark of hope lit in her eye, but her face quickly fell as she said, "Even if he wanted his Miraculous back, there's no way I can give it to him. I don't know his secret identity, so I don't know where he lives or how to find him." Adrian interrupted. "Why not give it to Plagg?" "Plagg?" Adrian grinned. Yeah, he should know where his owner lived, and it wouldn't be too hard to see if he wanted it back. Ladybug's face lit up. Of course. Why didn't I think of that? Plagg could easily get it to Cat Noir. If he will want it back, that is. Her voice faded, and she clasped her arms shamefully. Do you really think he'll forgive me? Adrian smiled softly before slipping off the ring and placing it in Ladybug's hand. I know he will. She smiled back at him, then kissed him lightly on the cheek. Thank you, Adrian. She slipped the ring onto her finger, summoning the small black Kwame. Plagg, can you bring this Miraculous back to Cat Noir? And ask him, if he decides to take it back, that is, ask him to meet at our usual place? Plagg looked over at Adrian, who winked at him secretly. A sly grin spread across Plagg's face. Well, it is quite a long distance to go, but I wouldn't mind if it gets him back. She nodded appreciatively as he made his way toward the window, then she quickly added, Please try not to let anyone see you. No promises. He threw over his shoulder as he darted out over the busy streets. Ladybug sighed, but couldn't hide her growing excitement at the thought of getting Cat Noir to come back. Adrian smiled. Well, don't let me keep you. I know you've someplace to be. She nodded gratefully at him, then with a final wave she swung herself out of the window and into the night. A few seconds later, Adrian heard a strange sound coming from a nearby cabinet. He opened it and found Plagg gobbling up a block of camembert. Plagg? He shook his head at the Kwame's greedy appetite, but knew he shouldn't have expected anything different. What? You didn't think I was staying just for the company, did you? Adrian shook his head with a fond smile, but was surprised to feel a tiny body slam fiercely against his shirt. Thanks for always taking care of me, Adrian. Adrian cupped his hands affectionately around the small creature. You always do the same for me. After a moment, Plagg broke away and was about to make a dive for the cheese pile when Adrian stepped in his way. Oh, no. We have someplace to be. Plagg moaned. But I hate transforming. Couldn't we make Ladybug wait a bit to make her really miss you? Adrian gave him a look that explained that was clearly not an option, before shooting his fist into the air with a grin and exclaiming, Plagg, claws out! Cat Noir caught sight of Ladybug pacing anxiously at their spot overlooking the Eiffel Tower. He landed a few feet behind her, causing her to turn quickly in surprise. Cat Noir! She looked as if she were about to run up to him, but instead hesitated and held back, placing her hand nervously over her arm. Hello, Ladybug. She shifted uneasily, then tearfully exclaimed, I'm so sorry, Cat Noir. I never meant to hurt you. I wish I could take back the things I said and change the things I did, but I can't. And I understand if you don't want to be my partner anymore. Her voice broke as she struggled to hold back tears. I'm always telling you to control your emotions, but I let mine get the better of me. I treated you unfairly and said things I shouldn't have, and now I caused a rift in our friendship, and I wouldn't blame you if you never forgive me. Her body shook as it was overcome with heart-wrenching sobs, and within a moment, Cat Noir had crossed the distance between them. Ladybug rushed to meet him and fervently threw her arms around him as he pulled her in tight. Of course I forgive you, little bug, he said gently, though really I'm just as much to blame. I am so sorry, Ladybug. I should have confronted you with what I was feeling instead of abandoning you like that. I was so afraid I didn't matter to you anymore that I didn't think it would affect you if I left. Ladybug broke away in surprise. Of course you matter to me, Cat Noir. I couldn't do any of this without you. You're so confident and brave. You make even the most difficult of challenges seem like something fun. You're the best partner ever, Cat Noir. But more than that, you're my friend. One of the closest friends I've ever had. Cat Noir's eyes widened in surprise, and a warm feeling grew in his chest. Even though he had heard the same words earlier, it felt different addressed directly to him. She looked down as she said, It was terrible to think I lost you. Cat Noir lowered his head as he remembered how much it had affected her earlier. I know. She looked at him strangely, and he quickly added, I mean, it would be terrible if I thought you renounced your miraculous. I don't know what I'd do. She nodded understandingly, then took his hands with a smile. But that's something you don't ever have to worry about, kitty cat. I promise to never give up my miraculous. Not without talking to you first. Cat Noir smiled appreciatively and gently squeezed the red-clad hands as he replied, I promise to never run off and leave you ever again. He stared earnestly into her eyes as he added, I will always be here for you, milady. She blinked slowly and stood almost frozen as she let the words sink in. And a warm smile grew across her face as she slipped away from him and raised her hand into a fist. Partners? He winked as his fist touched hers. Partners. They stood for a moment, enjoying the view. Then Cat Noir reluctantly turned to leave, knowing he couldn't stay too long away from home, and was sure it was the same for Ladybug. See you later, milady. He was about to jump off when Ladybug called out to him, Cat Noir? He paused and turned back to face her. She smiled shyly as she said, I meant it when I said you were irreplaceable. He felt his heart skip slightly, then a reassuring calm washed over him. Thank you, Ladybug. He gave her a grateful nod, then soared off into the night. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.